That right there is the #1 overall pick, Jackson Holliday, and you can't tell me that this kid is not going to be good with that swing. Honestly, he kind of reminds me of Corey Seager. What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. The Yankees are officially making kids cry because of how bad they're playing. Albert Pujols has found the fountain of youth, and I guess the same can be said for Andrew Mccutchen. Before we talk about the games from yesterday, I completely forgot that they remade the Little League World Series game. This was the game of my childhood, so if you want to see that on the channel tomorrow, let's try and get 2,000 likes. Jacob deGrom is apparently human. Now, if I could go back to the offseason and pick a handful of games that are must watch, I think this would be one of them. Dansby Swanson has been Jacob's kryptonite this year as he grabs another RBI extra base hit off of the GOAT. Austin Riley does the same. He singles to center for another run, and Jacob said enough of that. He did not allow a single run after that base hit to Austin Riley, who, by the way, Austin Riley has been an MVP caliber player this year, but I still have my pick going to the top G, Paul Goldschmidt. Mark Canha worked an 8-pitch at-bat versus Max Fried, and he won it on a 2-run, 412-foot blast to kind of ruin Fried's gem. But Max, he stayed confident. He ended up throwing 7 brilliant innings. He struck out 6 and didn't allow any walks. Then, the 21-year-old phenom, Michael Harris II, he stepped up and he drove home Vaughn Grissom. Look at that shot right here. Grissom is so much fun to watch. This was playoff baseball in August. Kenley Jansen wrapped it up for his 28th save of the year, and the Braves are just 3.5 games back of first place after going 9-1 in their last 10 games. Now, staying with the Braves, we do have to talk about their DH or left fielder, whatever he is. Marcell Ozuna was arrested for the second time in the last 11 months. This time he was out being a doofus at 4 a.m. when they legit play the Astros later today. So the Braves, they really need to own up to their mistake and they need to release this guy. I'm with Foolish Baseball. Foolish Baseball said that they need to DFA the guy 100% with him, and fans are just kind of sick of Marcell Ozuna both on and off the field. So yes, you would have to eat the $15, $16, $17 million, whatever it is, but he's not worth it anymore. Cut ties. Now, before we get into the other games, I always seem to talk about the Diamondbacks and the Cubs later in these recaps, so let's switch it up today. Dalton Varsho continues to prove that he is one of the more versatile players in baseball. I cannot wait to see him on a loaded 2023-2024 Diamondback squad. Josh Rojas drove in Stone Garrett on a double, and then Jake McCarthy as well as Carson Kelly, they did their jobs. They know that you don't have to hit a home run every single time. They do their jobs by hitting singles, and that was all that Zach Gallen needed, who had one of the best starts of the year by anyone. I'm going to go ahead and say that. He almost threw 8 shutout innings. He didn't walk anyone, and he had 12 punch-outs. He lowers his 2022 season ERA to 2.78. He is going to be the front man in that rotation for a while because he just turned 27 years old and he's getting better and better. Adrian, Sampson, and Spencer Watkins, they both performed very well. Sampson of the Cubs almost went 6 shutout innings. He struck out 6, and Watkins only gave up 1 run, and that was on a solo shot to Wilson Contreras. But the Cubs, they got to the Baltimore bullpen. Rafael Ortega got a home run, and Wilson Contreras popped off again for his second home run of the game. Between Giovanni Soto and Wilson Contreras, the Cubs, they really know how to pick backstops. Brandon Hughes, he was tasked with finishing off the Orioles, and he came in clutch by picking up his first save of the year. The Orioles got to start being a little bit more consistent because they've had a rough last week, at least in my opinion. Now, these blowouts are always tough to recap because so many things happen. I don't want to upset the copyright gods of Major League Baseball, so I'm going to try and show as much as I can without getting taken down. But Goldie had a few RBI base hits early on, so he now has 94 RBIs and an otherworldly 197 OPS plus. He's playing like prime Pujols back in 08 and 09. Speaking of Pujols, look at that old man go. He must have taken the super soldier serum that Steve Rogers took because that grand slam raises his OPS plus to 135, which is 35% better than average. That was his 690th career home run, so he's 10 away from 700. He's hitting 363 with 21 RBIs against lefties this year. Lars Nootbaar homered, and then Adam Wainwright dominated Colorado again. For his career, he's 12-1 versus the Rockies with a 1.38 ERA. The Redbirds have won 4 in a row, and by the way, the Cardinals are the first team in baseball history to have a 40-year-old hit a grand slam and a 40-year-old throw 7 innings of shutout baseball on the same game. There you go, the first ever. So if that game was hard to recap, what about a game in which the Astros scored 21 runs? Trey Mancini sparked the onslaught with a solo shot. Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker, they both drove in a few in the third on a couple doubles and I think a single for Kyle Tucker. Houston put up a few more, but we're going to skip to the fourth where Jordan had an RBI 2-bagger and Alex Bregman had a 2-run home run. But wait, there's another 2-run home run that is 6 RBIs before the 7th inning for Alex Bregman. He's almost hitting 400 with 12 extra base hits and 16 RBIs over his last 18 games. Chas McCormick had a huge day as well. He bashed a 3-run home run in the 8th inning, collecting his 5th RBI on the day later in the 9th. Houston is 77-43. That is scary. Jonah Heim reminded us that he still exists. I haven't heard from the guy in a little bit. And Mark Mathias went yard for his second big league home run, and that was right before Jonah Heim singled in his second RBI of the day. And Nate Lowe mashed a 3-run home run, and he's very quietly having a fantastic season. I haven't once looked at his stats this year, but 17 home runs and a 130 OPS plus. Very good numbers in my opinion. Dane Dunning showed why he was once a top prospect. 4 strikeouts over 6. Marcus Semien grabbed an RBI, and let me just say this. If Josh Young is healthy going into 2023 and Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker are even decent, Texas, they have a pretty bright future ahead of them. Yandy Diaz went 400 on this pitch, and more on him in just a second. That's because I want to talk about Luis Patino. He was cooking, and it's really nice to see because he is filthy. If he's able to somehow find his release point and make it more consistent, he will legitimately be an ace, even ahead of someone like Tyler Glasnow. He almost threw 6 shutout innings and had 4 strikeouts, but this was kind of a ramp-up game because he's only thrown 13 pitches this year. Max Castillo was great for Kansas City, but he takes the tough loss after the Tampa Bay Rays exploded later on. Yandy knocked in RBIs 2 and 3. Brandon Lau and Randy both added insult to injuries, and Bethancourt went yard. Listen, I've always kind of been a Rays naysayer, but Wander's coming back soon. Glasnow might be coming back towards the end of the year. That pitching staff looks pretty sturdy. Watch out for the Tampa Bay Rays going forward. Jose Barrios came into this game as quite possibly the worst starting pitcher in baseball this year, but we all know he has ace stuff, so is he going to get back to that? Well, the Yankees helped him out. Espinal and Springer, they both knocked in a few RBIs for their pitcher, and Vladdy, he wanted all the smoke. This kid has been out of his mind over the last month or two. 26 home runs, 75 RBIs, and a 143 OPS plus on the season now. He just turned 23 years old, and also shout out to his defense. He has 6 defensive run saves, so 6 DRS, which means he has improved his glove vastly since the beginning of his career. Alejandro Kirk had an RBI 2-bagger, and like I mentioned, Barrios was fantastic. He struck out 9 in just under 7 innings, and Teoscar Hernandez made it 9 runs for the offense after a 2-run double. So the Blue Jays have now won a bunch of games in a row, and the Jays and Rays are both 9 games back from first place. So the Yankees still have a big-time lead, but they've been playing so bad. Not only are they making children cry, but they're losing their grip on the division. Brian Reynolds is going to get paid when he's a free agent. That's a 2-run tater, and before we show his second home run of the game, I gotta show Ben Gamble. Nice, awesome, very cool, nice little RBI. Okay, anyways, Brian Reynolds connects again. So over his last 260 games, he has a 140 OPS plus. He is a switch-hitting center fielder with really good speed, so again, he's gonna get a bag. Michael Chavis and Heineman, they played a few more for JT Brubaker, who shoved it. The dude went 7 scoreless innings, only allowed 2 base hits. He struck out 7 along the way. A super tough loss for Boston as they slipped back to 5 games back of the final AL wildcard spot. Ildemaro Vargas and Manny Machado, they traded some home runs. Manny now has 22 home runs and an almost 5.5 WAR on the season. Those were the only runs given up by the starting pitchers. Anibal Sanchez, he struck out 4 and only allowed that 1 hit to Manny Machado, while Yu Darvish, he was out there frying people as well. 8 shutout innings with no issue, but then he got into a little bit of trouble trying to go for 9 innings. Josh Hader, who has been all-time good to begin his career, has been anything but that over the last month. He walks in a run, everyone was booing out of their mind, and then he allows an RBI sac fly to Keibert Ruiz. So in 3 innings for the Padres, Josh Hader has allowed 3 runs on 4 walks. Kyle Hennigan of the Nationals almost imploded. He walked 2, but he picked up his 6th save. The Padres, they got to get it going sometime soon. And last but certainly not least, Andrew McCutchen must have taken some magic elixir before the game, and that elixir made him 22 years old all over again. Now, he's always destroyed left-handed pitching, but my goodness, both of those baseballs cleared 400 feet pretty easily. Kutch, he's had a very interesting career. He is now just 75 base hits away from 2,000, and he's going to be in the 50 WAR club by the time that his career is all said and done. Is he a Hall of Famer? Let me know in the comments. Renfroe has been one of the best power hitters in baseball the last few years. He flexed his muscles again for his 21st home run. Corbin Burns was laser focused up until the 6th when he allowed 3. Tyrone Taylor in center field almost made the play of the year. It was in and then out of his glove. Gavin Lux now leads the league in triples with I think 7, but Milwaukee, they came away with the dub after Devin Williams squashed the Dodgers by striking out the side. So there you go. The Brewers pick up a much needed victory. So after all of that, here are the current standings in both the American League and the National League wildcards. The AL is absolutely flooded. There's like 5 or 6 teams going for it. And then in the National League, it's about the same. We have the Phillies, the Padres, and the Brewers all fighting for that final spot. Before I show the web gems, I'm going to go ahead and roll this day in MLB history. 6 years ago today, back in 2016, Tyler Naquin had one of the craziest walk-offs ever.
Altuve. Goes after the first pitch. He ships it out to center field. Pollock back at the track and the wall. Oh, AJ!
It's gone a long way. AJ now is on the track. He leaps up.
Line to right center field. Incoming, diving is Soto to make the catch.
Ian Happ, mile high. McKenna gives it a look into the corner. McKenna! Are you kidding me? Air Ryan. Hadley has the mask off.
Carved into right field. They put a ball in play, and a diving catch by Joey Gallo. I don't know if he saw it immediately, but he found it in time to track it down and into 1-2-3 second for Heaney.
Lines this one, and coming in and making a great play is Jock Peterson.
That was a great play, and but for a guy who's got a good glove, and errors, I don't know if you can totally wipe that clean from the board. But this is a nice play.
That one's off the end of the bat. Meneses broke back, and he's going to get there.
Nice job right there by Joey. Again, this is a guy that's playing deep out there.